What's up, everyone? Hey, we just got to freshen up on some of the people that support us out here with Just Another Failure podcast. By the way, Heatwave Visual just dropped their new Future Tech sunglasses. They got 3 colorways, I think, right now. We have kind of what would you call that, a rainbow lens?
Yeah, I kind of got a pink rainbow lens.
Yeah, and they got a gold lens and a black lens, and they got the clear frames, they have the safety frames. Anyways, Heatwave's awesome. They're our buddies out of San Jose, California. And they hook us up. If you head over, use promo code FAIL, and get hooked up on the website. Grab yourself some sunglasses, maybe a sick t-shirt or a hoodie.
They got sick gear and sick glasses.
Yeah,
so.
Let's support our rad buddies out there. Also, our buddies at Rockwell, they make sick watches. I've been loving my Coliseum Assault watch. I run the Thid Rent line. He's running the same thing. The watches are great. You can burn your calories on here. You can check your run. 2 different time zones.
Kind of does it all.
It does it all. They're quality watches that we have everything from sportswear to luxury wear. Plus they do CrossFit gear. They do workout supplements, everything. Head over, use Failure 20 with those guys. Get yourself laced up with some sweet gear. Also, we got to shout out our buddies London Boat Rentals for hooking us up with a spot and letting us record.
Yeah, definitely thank you to London Boat Rentals, because without them, we wouldn't have this awesome studio that we have. So yeah, big shout out to them.
If you're in the Long Beach area, stop by, grab a Duffy, come down, stop by Ballast Point Boathouse. We're open again. You know,
life's back, baby.
Let's go.
But yeah, we also have a couple other sponsors. Huertos Coffee. These guys are awesome. The guys that run this are just downright cool dudes. The coffee, also amazing. And I mean, what better way to help give back to our first responders? Because every purchase through Muertos Coffee, 5% goes back to first responders. So get yourself some good coffee and go support the people that help you.
It's firefighter owned and operated.
Firefighter owned and operated. Like I said, these guys are awesome. Their coffee is good, and it's for a good cause. So use Just Another Failure at checkout at muertoscoffee.com, I believe it is.
It is.
And get yourself some good coffee and give back to the community. And then also, we have our buddies at Canadips. This is a chewing tobacco alternative to get you off of chewing tobacco, because that stuff's nasty. They come in all sorts of different flavors. They are CBD pouches that you just pop right in the lip. They call them packing a lip boomer.
And no THC.
No, you just let them chill on the lip. Get all the benefits of CBD. They also do have a THC infused pouch if you are looking for that side of things. That they should be dropping soon, I think.
Yeah, I think in June.
And yeah, these guys are absolutely awesome too. So if you're looking for pack yourself a lip boomer yourself, go to Canadips and use FAIL20 at checkout, get 20% off. And I would suggest just running it down the board. Go buy all the flavors because they're all amazing.
You're not going to be disappointed.
Absolutely not. They're awesome. So yeah, go support everybody. Rockwell Watches, Heatwave Visual, Muertos Coffee, and Canadips. And you guys can also support us.
JustAnotherFailure.com.
JustAnotherFailure.com. You can buy some shirts if you'd like. You can also support us on Anchor for as little as $1 a month.
But overall, enjoy our episode. Thanks, guys.
Enjoy. We'll see you guys later.
What up?
All right, here we go. What's going on? Came in way too hot. Way too hot. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Just Another Failure podcast with myself, Devin, my co-host Matt, who's obviously got something way more important going on because he's texting instead of being involved here. But that's what I got to deal with every day. So
I get it.
But with us today, we got our buddy, Mr. George Turner.
Yes, sir.
What is going on, buddy?
All right, man. It's great to be here today,
Yeah, I'm stoked to have you out here.
Stoked to see you again. Last time we saw you was right before everything.
Oh, no, I saw him more recent than you did because I went up to the bike shop.
Oh, that's true. You did go up there.
Yeah.
Last time I saw you was before everything
COVID.
got shut down real hard.
Yep. Matt actually came to visit me.
Yeah.
I did.
See, that makes me sound like
you're a bad guy.
little bit of an ass.
I'm allowed to start texting in the beginning of the show because I've actually seen them more recently.
Yeah,
so
well,
you just don't get that privilege right now.
I don't think we're gonna give you that much of a benefit of the doubt, but it's whatever.
But yeah, dude, you've been doing some awesome stuff recently, and you own Penuel Bike Shop in Inglewood, California.
Penuel. We just went over this, Matt. Penuel Bikes.
Leave it to me to mess it up.
See, he was texting.
Yeah, he wasn't. See, that's what I'm trying to say.
I had an important text to send down. But
more important than this? Yeah, no worries.
how long have you been running that bike shop up there?
So I've been running this bike shop it's been 10 years total. 7 years at this location, 10 years total.
Okay.
Yeah. And the location is kind of unique for a bike shop. You're located in Compton, right?
Inglewood.
Close enough.
I mean, they're neighbors, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of like Old Town, downtown Inglewood, right? That you're on that strip?
I'm on the it is. Yeah. Like, I found that out not too long ago. We're on, like, the north side of La Brea, and that's, like, it used to be a really popular thoroughfare for Inglewood. Yeah. Don't know what happened, but used to be pretty popular.
You can kind of tell just the way the street looks and the shops look down that street. It kind of has that old, kind of roaring 50s looking vibe, like prime neighborhood kind of
From
thing.
what I understand, they're going to try to revitalize it and redo the city or that part of the city in North Inglewood, redo the sidewalks. They're supposed to put plants along the sidewalk and all kind of stuff. So we'll
spruce it up, give it a little facelift.
Exactly. Yep.
That's very nice.
Because you're born and raised Inglewood, right?
Yep. Inglewood native.
So we met you through the bike world, mountain biking, but you're big in the road bike world. What kind of got you going into bicycles? Was that kind of growing up, you were always into bikes, or a later thing in life once you started having kids? How did the bike scene kind of get into your life?
So for the most part, growing up, bikes is what kept me out of trouble. I remember being 13 or 14 years old, something around there, and wanting a bike from the bike shop. And at the time, my parents, it was a big deal to get a bike that was on sale for $199. And I had the old school Schwinn's with the funny looking frame, but all my friends had BMX bikes. So I was always scared to go out and hang out with them and ride because I had the funny looking bike. So once we finally got enough money to get a bike for my birthday, I got involved at the bike shop because I wanted more parts. I wanted the number plates. I wanted to change the tires. I wanted different brakes. So kind of hooked up with the owner there and worked like after school and on the weekends just to get more parts. So bikes is what kept me out of trouble for the most part growing up.
All right. Dude, I wish like a quality bike was $199.
Right? I was just about to say the good old days when bikes weren't $1 million.
Yeah, not spending $7,000 on a mountain bike.
Right now your like frame itself is like $3,000 and
good carbon frames $3,500.
Everything else is just more money on top of that. Yeah. So $199 sounds pretty nice.
That's a steal. So, but you eventually kind of got big into the road bike game.
So I got big into road biking, not because I really wanted to. It was because I'm a mountain biker at heart. Mm-hmm. And I got into road biking because in the city, there are really no mountains. So my bread and butter was basically road bikes because there were no mountains. And that's how I got into road bikes, because all the people around me didn't want to go out in the mountains and get dirty. They just wanted to ride on the street.
You got a pretty solid crew, though.
Hey, we could tell, though, that he liked mountain biking because you couldn't wipe that smile off his face when we were riding.
Oh yeah, Santa's Village.
We were having a good time.
And that's kind of coming back to like how this all got going in our introduction to George is you met Devin's dad at Summit, Darren at Summit, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So the funniest part, I was up there by myself, and I never really ride bikes by myself, especially mountain bikes. And I was out there riding, and me, of course, being a black guy, I'm looking for other people to be friends with because I was the only black guy out on the mountain. And I actually happened to see his dad, and they all had KHSs. So I was like, hey.
Oh, that's right. You guys rode the same bike. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I was like, hey, we got something in common. Hey, how you doing, man? I got a KHS. You got a KHS. Can we be friends? And that's how
let's be boys.
That's how we became friends.
If anyone knows Darren, he's the most standoffish, hates everyone, doesn't want to be anyone's friend, can't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
He's your best friend the moment you meet him, especially if you're
how much did you instantly regret becoming friends with him when he just wouldn't shut up? He just would not stop talking the whole time.
Nah, we were actually really good because I don't know why, but for whatever reason this day, I was super afraid to jump. And I'm like, man, this dude is my age or around my age. He looks like he's my age, and he's jumping. Hey, man, we both got KHS. You're jumping. Hey, talk to me. Like, what's going on here? And that's, it just a big door opened up. So we started talking from there on out.
KHS, local Compton brand.
Yep.
I think we all rode KHS at one point.
That was like,
I rode their 75 was mine.
I think I had a 7500 too.
Yeah, that was a sick bike though. Actually, I liked that.
That was like my first real like honest to God mountain bike that I like actually rode.
That was my first bike that I fully like built, like hand built. Like
that was the first bike I think I've ever gotten out of a box.
Oh, no doubt. KHS is a great bike.
I liked
great
it.
Bike.
I had a great setup. I had that DVO fork on there. Destin hooked me up with DVO.
Yep, same.
Yeah.
I had that deal when he was with
Bryce,
KHS for a little while.
Yeah, Bryce with DVO was hooking us up, and I've always loved the DVO fork. I still like it for some reason, even though when I ride the RockShox and the Fox, there's something about the DVO that I really, really like.
I mean, I'm more of a Fox guy, but that's just me. That's just me,
Fox guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've turned more Fox, recently, but
don't try and hop on the bandwagon now.
You have my old bike. It has a Fox fork on it.
Yeah, because it comes with it.
Yeah, there we go. But so anyways, long story short, you guys ended up getting talking and some time went by, but you had some buddies from Inglewood that wanted to learn how to ride mountain bikes, and so initially it set it up for Devin to go out and teach you guys, and then I just kind of joined the party, and we showed up last year, February probably, right before COVID, and ran a school with you and your buddies, your wife, your kid was out there.
Which you guys have heard us talk about running this bike school. This was who we started it with and did it with. So now you get to hear his side of it, which was, I mean, still we talk about how much fun we actually had that day. And even though we barely could walk afterwards because we rode so much, like I don't think I've ever ridden that much in one day.
Especially at Santa's. And I remember like at the end of the day, who was James? What was your buddy's name? He was a pretty good mountain bike rider. There was one dude, like BMX background.
That was Anthony.
Anthony, yeah. He
he ripped.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was talking about how he wanted to like learn some stuff. I'm like, bro, you know what you're doing.
Well, he was a former pro BMX.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what am I trying to teach you? You know what you're doing.
That dude shredded. But I remember at the end of the day, it was me, Anthony, Devin, and Darren, and we were at the top of Santa's. And this was the only time out of every time I rode Santa's that we were up there and we were the last people on the mountain. And
and it was cool though too because everybody got split up throughout the day.
Yeah, and we all met.
We all magically met up at the top for that last sunset.
It would have been
session.
sick if someone was filming this and there was like a drone because we all just kind of came up on our own and we all just kind of like one of us showed up and we're like, I don't know if anyone else is gonna be here. That's not me.
Wow, that's not you for once.
I was like, that's usually
my bad.
Me.
That was me.
No,
that
that's
was
all
me.
good. No, it's always me.
It's Matt
that's
every
always
time.
Me. I like jumped on my phone. I was like, no way, I didn't have anything going. That's funny.
I was about to roast him again because he always. Does
I always set my alarm off on there, but it was funny because like it was like one got up and we waited, and then like someone else showed up and we're like, maybe we'll give it a couple more minutes. And then the last two guys showed up, but I just remember going down like at the end of the day. Like my groin was hurting so bad, and I was like, dude, why am I so sore? Like I know I've been off the bike for like a month, like, but we had been riding pretty heavily up until that, and I took like a month off, and I was like, dude, like I can't believe I'm this out of shape. And like Devin like looks at his Strava because my phone died, and it was like 22 miles and like 4,000 feet of elevation we had, or 6,000 feet of elevation we had climbed that day.
We did a lot of climbing, a lot of miles. Like you don't think about it because it's a pretty mellow climb there. They do it so everybody can get up and down the mountain. But we were just going lap after lap after lap after lap, and we took lunch, and then we started just doing it again.
Man, I saw some pictures from that last run. I was so jealous. I was so jealous. I wish I could have been there, but I was down with the rest of the crew.
Yeah.
The photos and pictures from that, they still in my phone. I still look at them.
Yeah,
I remember.
Still look at them.
We still talk about.
Still talk about. I mean,
that day was so fun. I mean, we had a complete
we had a huge.
I'm glad
vision.
you ended up coming too because after we got up there and we saw how many people were there, I was like, I can't do this by myself. So thank God you were there and my dad helped out as well. But it was really fun. I mean,
yeah. So that's always one of the things that I've always wanted to do because I am in love with being on a mountain. For me, it's just something about being out there. Like when the wind blows, it's almost like you can smell the breath of God. It's like everything is completely different. There's a peace out there that you don't get down here in the city. So I wanted people in my neighborhood to be able to experience that peace and that joy. So that's how we kind of hooked up with you guys, because I knew you guys knew what you were doing. I knew you knew how to ride. So I needed someone to be able to teach them how to ride so they can enjoy what I loved. And that's what it all came about.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
it was
just the progression that came out of
That's
that
what I
whole
was gonna
day. Like
say
that,
was-
it was so fulfilling. Just watch for me, just to see like what I told people was being processed, and people were actually using it, and it became rote, and they were like, "This is gonna work," and that was cool. From people being afraid to kind of ride down the hill, walking down the hill, to at the end of the day, Devin had people riding their bike, and then I had a couple of people that weren't standing up going down.
Exactly.
And, like watching them slowly like inch up off their seat, and like realizing the more you stand and the more control you have over steering, like all that stuff was just so unique. And we had a huge goal, like kind of getting that camp going and training up there, and then COVID just shut down that dream.
COVID
But
was like,
COVID was a
just
killer.
kidding.
Yeah,
I don't think
man.
any of us thought it was going to last a year. I mean, we're kind of now coming out of it finally, but
Yeah.
it's been brutal,
Yeah, it
and like
has.
there wasn't a lot of room for us to go teach. And I mean, it would have been way cool to bring a lot more people out of the city with you, and especially some of the contacts that you have, getting some of those people out there. But I remember one of your buddies, like he came up with like, it was like a hardtail with like just a front fork, like not an aggressive bike, and his bike blew up like the first run. And I like seen him at the lodge, and
He was like so sad.
I
dude.
was like, do you want to ride? He's like, no, I'm good. My bike broke. I'm like, no, dude, you need to ride. And I like went over to the bike shop and grabbed him a bike. I'm like, get out on the mountain with us.
Yeah.
Like, come ride. And I remember like riding up the mountain next to him, and I put him on a Santa Cruz, and he was like, dude, this thing's sick.
It was like life changing because
It was, yeah.
well, like in comparison to what he was riding, to give everybody like a perspective on it, he went from riding like basically a Honda Accord to like getting into a Ferrari, and he was like,
Totally.
okay.
So it was a mountain bike. It was a quote unquote mountain bike, but it was only made to be in the city.
Yeah, it's like what it's
It wasn't made for the
It was
dirt.
like straight out of Walmart. Like, let's be honest.
but it's like what like you see like runners in the city like taking stuff to different businesses on. You got your little like kind of tray on the back that you could like put stuff on. Like that's kind of what it was. It was like just a runner bike for the city. It probably worked great in the city, but you put that thing
just
on.
mean for hopping off curbs, but like anything other than that is like
And like
a little
and
tough for him.
for Santa's, it's probably like your blue level runs compared to a resort. It's still downhill riding. We have wall rides. We have some rock gardens out there, but it's not like what you're going to get into on a Black Diamond at North Star or Sierra Summit. But yeah, that bike just couldn't handle it
couldn't
for
handle
groomed
it.
trails and
It
stuff.
wasn't ready.
It wasn't ready.
It wasn't ready.
But you know the thing that I love the most about that guy, I'm going to say he's probably like 55 years old.
Yeah, he was an older
He
dude.
will never ever forget that.
Yeah.
Like he will never forget that day. He'll never forget that experience. And that's what I want people to have. I want them to have a memory and an experience that they will never forget about.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about mountain bikes.
Well, and that's what was like, we've talked about this before too. And I mean, the joy that I get myself from riding is one thing. But when we did that school and teaching your wife, who she had a previous accident on a road bike. So she was very, very timid. And then she was very new to mountain biking as well. So she was like, she started the day not very happy.
Yeah.
She was not having a good time. And like he was saying, she was walking down the hill. I was legitimately walking with her down the hill, and I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be, going to be tough. But like we just stuck with it, which I will applaud her because she actually did stick with it.
Yep.
Because most people like would get frustrated enough and just be like, dude, I'm done.
Yep.
But she stuck with it all day, and to see her progression from walking down the whole mountain to by the end of the day, she was ripping. And I was like, that was like way cooler than anything I've done on a bike, was actually teaching somebody to do that. And like that fulfillment, like you were saying, is something that's like, it's hard to describe that feeling, but it feels so cool. And then opening somebody else's eyes now to that side of things, and seeing that they can enjoy mountain biking now too, it's incredible. It was so awesome.
I mean, I enjoyed that day so much. I ended up getting a volunteer job up at Sky Park.
I was going to talk to you about that. Yeah, because you kind of volunteer up there still, right? As a trail boss?
I'm a trail marshal.
Yeah, trail marshal. Yeah.
Hey, he's the guy yelling at us not to session stuff.
Yeah, that's me.
We've gotten in trouble so many times because, like, especially after lunch at Santa is like there's parts that you just want to session. You want to get your shots in, like.
Well, it gets mellow too.
Gets
like
mellow,
most people kind of like after lunchtime it slows down. So
just a little, yep.
Like on Jump Run, like we were sessioning that wood tabletop, like right there that everyone shoots. We just kept sessioning that, and they finally came over like, hey, you guys can't. I'm like, we're just trying to get some shots. Like, yeah, you got to ride down. I'm like, yeah, but that's so much for a shot. Like,
bro, my legs are dead already.
Yeah.
Like, come on, just let me hit the fun jump real quick.
How often are you up there now? Because I wanted to talk to you about that.
So during COVID, it was roughly once a month, sometimes twice a month.
Okay.
So between 1 and 2 times a month.
And then are you still kind of 1 or 2 times a
Yep.
month up there? That's
Still up there. Yeah.
We got to come up and see you. I will say though, like the group of people that you brought were a lot of them road bikers, and they smoked us going up the hill. Like I could legit hang with them. Like, and it was fun because like going down the hill, I'm going way below my pace and having fun and teaching them and talking through them. And then we go to climb up, and they'd just be like, I'll see you up there in 15.
Yeah, we're supposed to be the teachers, and we're like asking them, we're like, how do you climb that hill so fast? How you guys doing that?
They're up there already like winded, water break. I'm coming up like.
Matt's just begging for a cigarette and a Diet Coke because he's breathing so hard.
I mean, your guys ripped up the hill. Those guys could climb. The girls too, guys and girls that you brought absolutely shredded.
Yeah, that whole day was fun, and seeing your little dude too.
Yeah.
Like he had an absolute blast.
Oh, yeah.
And
He totally loves it.
I'm assuming he probably crashed out pretty hard after that on the drive home.
As soon as he got in the car, he knocked out. As soon as he got in the car.
Yeah.
So have any of these guys kind of stuck with it and gone back and sessioned?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like most of them actually now have the annual pass.
Oh, sick.
So a couple of them, like one of them I know went and got like a $6,000 mountain bike. So people have got into it and they love it. And that's what I like. It's just something different about being out in nature versus being in like the concrete jungle. So it's just, I love it out there, man.
I mean, like you said, it's being closer to God. I mean, you're just like you're in that element out there. And I was even thinking about that the other day because now with work, like I'm based out of the mountains now, and I'm not based at like a municipal airport to say. I'm based up in the mountains. I was like sitting outside our hangar the other day. One of our airplanes was taking off. We have a grass runway and a concrete runway, so we can have different types of flying. But our airplane's taking off. I'm just sitting there like looking at the backdrop. I'm like, I'm just sitting in the mountains at this airport in the mountains, and this is home. Like this is where I call home for work.
And you get to see stuff like not a lot of people get to see either.
Yeah.
Like there's quite a few people that don't ever get to experience stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's also a really cool part. And like you're saying, I mean, it's just you get a breath of fresh air.
Especially your neighborhood though. Like I mean, how many people from Inglewood, Compton, like Whittier or the greater area right there around, like how many people actually get out of the city and go to Compton? I'll never forget, I was living in Manhattan Beach when I first moved to SoCal, and I was running on the beach, and these dudes, like I'm going down the beach, and these guys were like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, hey, what's going on? They're like, hey, can we get a picture with you? I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? And they're like, we just need to get a picture with a white boy down here. I'm like laughing, dude. I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, we've been asking people, and people just run faster when they go by us. It's like I get a photo with them, and they're like, it's our first time to the beach. I'm like, cool, right on. I was like, where are you guys all from? Like, I'm thinking like mid-state, like Midwest or something. They're like, we're from Compton. I'm like, bro, like
you're right down the street.
You're from Compton, like this. You're 8 miles away. Like
that's the part that, and this is the unfortunate thing. Not many people actually understand that when you live in the inner city like that, most people have never been to the beach.
Yeah.
Like they've never been the 7 to 10 miles to the beach. So taking them up in the forest, up in the wilderness where they can actually see nature, see animals and stuff like that, man, it blows their mind.
crisp air above the smog line.
Yeah. It completely blows their mind. And that puts in them something that they'll never forget, and they look to duplicate that. So then they start talking to other people about getting out in the mountains and mountain bike riding and doing other things. And it creates something new. It creates something for them to look forward to. And that's what we want to do.
And that was kind of the whole thing behind the Adventure Unknown brand, which we kind of turned into the mountain bike school. That was kind of that whole thing. But my whole vision with that was like disconnecting people from social media, sort of say, getting people out of the city and bringing them out to the wilderness, like places where I know where I find my peace and my happiness has always been in the wilderness.
Yes.
And like bringing people. So like when we linked up with you, I was like, dude, this is sick. This is a calling for that vision. Like, how do we make this happen? And then you saying you had all these people, from Inglewood and the inner cities that like would be down to get out and mountain bike ride. I'm like, cool. Like, how do we make this happen? Like, and it's something I would still love to get back on the program and get this going, especially post COVID and stuff. And
now that we're allowed to actually like talk to people again.
And I know the bike games sucked for the last year because COVID. Well, for you guys, it was great. I mean, bike sales went through the roof. You can't get a bike right now. Like, still, like, you can't call White Tea and get a bike. They don't have bikes. You can't call Santa Cruz. So, like, maybe in 8 months or so, when bikes start coming back in, shipments start coming back in, we could get bikes and get some bike deals. But I mean, it was rough just even having a bike. I sold my bike to him, and then like there hasn't even been bikes to buy. Like you can't even buy a bike.
Yep.
They don't exist.
2022 is when it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And so I really think there's going to be something that we could bring back to this, work with you on, and then start like the bike camp or whatever it is. Maybe it's not a bike school or just getting more of those people exposed out to the wilderness.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I mean, obviously you're a big advocate for trying to help like inner city kids get into bikes, onto bikes, just, basically do what you did and help them, keep their attention on something that's going to keep them out of trouble. And if that means taking them up to the mountains and putting them on a mountain bike and, showing them a different perspective on stuff, then that's something that we would definitely love to be involved in because we had a blast doing it. And if we can continue to do it, we would love to.
Oh, yeah. So it's just been a while since I talked to you guys. But since then, I'm going to do a little shameless plug. We end up connecting with the Outright program that's part of Specialized Bicycles. And we end up getting a grant for that whole program. So we have a grant to be able to take kids from the inner city up to the mountains and teach them how to mountain bike ride.
Awesome.
That's so sick, dude. That's so sick. That's a dope grant to get involved with.
Super dope grant. Yeah. And then we got Ram trucks to be able to provide shuttle service from the city to the mountain and back.
No way.
Really?
Wow.
Yep.
So we got the setup now.
I know. We gotta come link up with George and go ride, man.
Right?
Like we gotta go help with this because literally at the end of the day, like just seeing the stories change on people's attitudes and like meeting them in the parking lot, and then at the end of the day, like just post talking to them about how their ride went, how everything went, what they learned that day. There's nothing more satisfying in life. Like, I like riding bikes. It's fun for me. I'm not the best rider. I know what I'm doing. I know how to teach it, but like being able to put what I do aside and just put what I know and help someone else, like that's more cool for me than like me advancing sometimes. Like that's actually more fun for me.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to since COVID is ending, getting the program back on track and getting people up in the mountains. It's just, one thing you're not going to have to worry about. Once the sun goes down, we're not going to be riding. Like you're not going to catch us riding in the dark on the mountain once the sun goes down. This is not a movie where you're going to see us out there running from bears or anything like that. No more bike riding once the sun goes down.
Yeah.
Hey, the luge is open at night. You can go run O'Neill at night. I kind of want to do it.
I've ridden a couple times at night, and I mean, I'll say I wasn't properly prepared. We just had like some ghetto lights that we threw on.
A mag light duct taped to your bars.
Dude, some people love it. Some people enjoy riding at night. I was just like, it's very dusty. I can see all the dust because it's lit up by the lights, and I can't see much other than that. And I wasn't a fan.
It's knowing your lights, though, too. Like Dana was talking about, like having the amber lights with the brights.
Yeah.
Like you have to have two different tone lights because the amber will shoot through the dust.
Yeah.
And then knowing your light position, but. Literally mountain bike lights now, it's like almost like off-road light bars. Like you can get these
it's like,
massive light bars on your
like
bikes.
Daytime.
Yeah.
They literally have lights that are like daytime. It's nuts.
Battery packs. I mean, I'm still kind of into it.
Yeah, but I'm on George's side. Like when the sun goes down, I'm good. I'm putting the bike away. I don't need to be riding anymore.
But I noticed recently, because you guys are doing your workout of the day every morning. You guys are posting that every morning.
Yep.
And Morning Wood, right?
Morning Wood. That's right. We have a road bike ride that actually happens every Wednesday. And matter of fact, it's going to happen this week again. It happens every Wednesday where we basically race from the bike shop in Inglewood to Pepperdine and back.
What's the mileage? I watched the video.
43 miles.
And how big is the group that your guys are riding with?
Anywhere up to like low 20s.
So it's a good little crew.
So it's a nice crew. It's a every man for themselves ride.
People are just throwing elbows.
Yep.
Oh, dude, the videos are sick.
Yeah.
Yep. Every man for themselves.
Yeah.
There are no teams unless you hook up with somebody on the side and try to work together. But
get a little dirty action going on. Team up.
We got to eventually get a road bike and go and do this because they do some pretty dope rides.
Dude, is it weird that like road bikes kind of scare me?
Maybe it's the clothes.
I dig
Maybe
the
it's the
clothes.
clothes.
I hate the clips. I hate the clips. The clips scare me.
The clips are what scare me, but like I don't just riding on the street scares me, dude.
Yeah, I don't too much like riding on the street, but one thing I will do early in the morning when it's not that many people out.
Yeah.
As more traffic comes out, I don't like being out there.
How do you feel about the negative aura about like your typical road rider? Just people are like, you're not a car, get out of the road.
So you encounter that more so once you're riding when traffic is at more of a peak. So I normally try to ride early in the morning where we don't get involved with a lot of cars, so we don't experience it that much. But then again, when you're riding in the neighborhood, people love to see you on a bike. It's different from riding in one of those like ritzy neighborhoods where bicyclists are bothering the motorists. When you ride your bike through the neighborhood, they think you're part of the Tour de France. Everybody wants to wave at you. They want to say, hey.
They're like handing you water bottles.
So,
like, let's go.
It's pretty cool. So, we really don't have much of a problem over there.
Oh, well, that's good then. I mean, I feel like everybody down here is like, if you ride a bike in the street, you're getting like flipped off, honked at, yelled at.
Like Huntington for sure. Like up here in our neighborhood in Long Beach, like I think more people ride bikes than don't.
Well, it's easier to ride a bike around here. Like you sit in traffic so much that it's not even worth it.
The 29er gang is just hardcore around here, though, dude.
Yeah, the wheelie gang.
Oh, dude, I want a 29er so bad. Like another bike, you just can't buy those right now. Like, or if you
Why
want
do you
one,
want a 29er? You can't even wheelie.
Wow, that's cool. Sick burn, dude. This guy sucks. That's actually one thing I'm decent at. Not on a DJ. I can't do them like on a DJ. They sit way too low. I can never do a sit down. I can do them on mountain bikes all day.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, you guys have to have the experience of coming to ride on our side of town. Like, put on some Lycra, put on the clothes, hop on a road bike, and when you get out there, you're going to be totally amazed because people are going to start pulling out phones.
Oh.
No. They're going to pull out phones and start videoing because it's something that they don't normally see. Yeah. They don't normally see people riding road bikes or mountain bikes.
Which is kind of
Look
funny.
at this white gorilla. Yeah. What is he doing here? Why is this? Who is he? Oh, he's with these guys.
Look at it. It's a white guy on a bike in our neighborhood. What the hell? This must be the Tour de France. This has to be the Tour de France.
Oh, he's with them. He's cool.
Yeah. No, that actually would be super fun though to go for a bike ride with you guys because.
No, I would love to. I've wanted to for a while.
I guarantee me and Matt are getting dropped first off. Like we are gonna be sitting in the back just huffing and puffing, going, "Why are these guys going so fast?"
We'll do a beginner ride for you.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Keep it toned down for us a little bit.
Yeah. What's pace on beginner ride? About 23. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And when we get to the stoplights, you're gonna see the pure panic of us trying to get out of the clips. I don't know how to do this. Help!
Falling into cars.
Yeah, just tipping over.
I liked road bikes during COVID last year. A couple people in my complex had road bikes, and they went out on a ride. And I just had my dirt jumper. And they're like, do you want to go for a ride tonight? I was like, yeah. And I've been cranking rides on my dirt jumper with them. Like, Devin and I would ride, like, casually, like, 15 miles a day on our dirt jumpers, like, just cruising the beach and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a single-speed bike, and our crank's, like, that big, and our sprocket's, like, that big. So, like, you're always pedaling these things. And so I go out with them. They let me borrow my neighbor's road bike, which is one too big, but I kind of made it work for me. And we come down here, and we get on the river, and we just had the river trail out. And they're like, have you ridden bikes? Like one of the girls in the group is like, have you ridden like a road bike? Are you gonna be all right here? I was like, I could probably figure this out. All right, whatever.
Took my training wheels off last night. Yeah, I got this.
I got on it, and I guess she didn't realize like I rode the beach every night and stuff like that. And so we head out on the river, and I just start cranking, and I'm like on this thing, and I'm going down the beach path, pretty flat, and I'm just having a good time just going down the river, just cranking. And it was at nighttime. I'm like, dude, road bikes are sick. Like you can just get in a solid workout just pedaling, pedaling, and you get a good pace going. But it was pretty funny. Like I got to a point and I turned around. I'm like, "Where's my buddies? Like where are my buddies at?"
Guys,
and, and I was like, "Did I make a wrong turn? Like what am I doing?" And we were riding at night. And like eventually, like I saw like a headlamp in the distance. I'm like, "Oh, cool. I hope that's them." And like they finally come up and. The girl was like, "Oh, like, do you ride bikes?" I was like, "I mean, I ride my BMX bike every day, but." The overall point of the whole story was like just road biking was fun at night. It was a great ulterior workout for me just to go out and pedal for.
It is. It's definitely a great workout.
You can do 25 miles on the,
The whole
beach.
point of that
no
story
problem.
was actually to make Matt feel like he was Lance Armstrong. Always call him Lance Live Wrong.
Live strong.
Lance
But
Armstrong.
like 20 miles on a road bike is nothing. 20 miles on a mountain bike is hardcore.
Oh, yeah. Big
Like
difference.
it's totally
Big
different.
difference.
Yeah, that elevation is what kills
But I
you.
guess if you're doing like 20 miles up the Grapevine or like going up Santa Monica, that's going to be a pretty brutal
Well,
ride
that's
too.
where
So,
like I give the road cyclists so much credit. If like, I mean, Tour de France, for example,
Amber.
those dudes are. The fact that you're climbing up the side of a mountain and at the rate that they are going, like those dudes are not human, not human.
well, we had Amber on the show. She's an Olympian,
And that's what I'm saying. She
training for the Olympics right
and
now.
it's I will say it about her too. Insane. Absolutely insane.
She says like there will be times like she's training with her husband on the scooter ahead of her, and she's like on the bumper of the scooter doing like 26, 27 miles an hour,
Yep.
just booking on her bike. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, that's
I'd be pulling over, throwing up, puffing and puffing, being like, I'm good.
I threw it long.
There's no way. There's no way they can climb this hill. There's no way.
On your morning wood that you guys do, what's your average speed? Like, what's a fast speed that you guys are pacing on this ride?
So we'll see anywhere up to like low 40 miles an hour. So we basically do the 43-mile ride in 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Are these e-bikes?
No, it's regular bikes. Once you get on PCH, you can really open it up. You can really open it up. So we're average, like the average for the ride would be 22, 23 miles an hour.
Okay.
And that's going through the city with all the stoplights and the stop signs. And
That's a fast pace.
oh, it's fast.
It's ripping.
That's ripping.
Yeah.
Like we've had some pretty notable people show up on the ride. Like we've had Rasan Bahati show up a couple times, and he's like a 10-time national champion.
Yeah.
And when he comes, you know it's gonna be fast.
Yeah, is that good? 10-time national champion? Is that pretty good?
Pretty good. Pretty darn good.
For the road bike world, I kind of want to do this thing. It's called like the Voltron or something like that. It's over here in Long Beach. It's like a banked track. It looks like a roller derby track for mountain bikes, and it's like this banked wall that's like a gnarly wall that you get on. It's something with like a V. It's like
Oh, the velodrome?
Velodrome.
There you go.
Yes, velodrome.
Have you done that?
That's
Yep.
an Olympic sport too.
I don't know. I don't get all the sports in the Olympics.
I mean, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Like,
Yeah.
not a lot of people know about that, but yeah, that's an Olympic sport as well.
Definitely.
I watch curling. I watch power walking.
Yeah, big curling guy, bobsledding.
Yeah. Power walking, big power walking
Yeah.
guy. The hips just flanking those things down the wall.
For a minute, he actually had me going. I'm like, Voltron. What
I know. That's what I was like. Is this
Voltron?
like some new event that they just came out with?
The velodrome, though, that thing
As
looks
soon as you
sick.
said bank wall, I was like, God, Matt, you're an idiot. I know exactly what you're talking
All
about.
right. I'm not a bike guy. I'm a pilot, all right? Anyways, but those guys get booking in that thing.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yep, exactly.
Dude, and you should see the gearing on those things. They like push them to get going, and it's like,
Yep.
like freeway gear.
Like, do they have bikes there we could use? Like, we could show up? Like, is there bikes there that we
Oh,
can...
yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm sure you probably could, yeah.
One of my
If you really feel like looking like a complete and total idiot, yeah.
Oh, you
I'm
would
sure.
you would like it. I have a friend
looks
that,
so
that
fun.
runs a program over at the Velodrome in Carson. So anytime you want to try it out, let me know and I'll get you in there.
We should go do this. This is going to be a great
I'm
Justin Unfettered
crashing
story.
Matt. I am straight cleaning Matt's front tire in the velodrome and just watching you slide down that bank wall.
This is legit like NASCAR on
yeah.
bikes. Like, dude, that wall, it's like a wall. It's
it's-
steep.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
seriously, look it up. Those dudes haul ass.
Oh, no, I saw it because Amber posted it. She went there to train, and that's
Yeah.
where I watched it. I was like, dude, this thing is sick. Like, it's just a banked NASCAR track for bikes.
They have one here?
It's so steep that
It might be
I
Carson.
think
I
it's
thought
like
it was Long Beach.
if you're not going, it's either 19 or 23 miles an hour, you
just
actually
slide. Yeah.
down it. You'll slide off.
It's going to see me.
No. Matt, you're going to need to go faster. I'm good. What did we say, Matt? What did we just say?
More speed into the corner. More speed into the corner.
Got it. Okay.
So you've done that, huh?
Yep.
Oh, we should go and do that together. We need to come to a morning wood. We need road bikes for the morning wood. We can't do those on our bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can talk to somebody who owns a bike shop. I don't know.
Maybe we can find.
Hey, George, you own a bike shop, don't you? No, I'm just kidding. No,
I'll bring my skateboard and hold on to your guys' seat.
Yeah. Matt, Matt will be so out of energy. He's just going to be holding on to everyone's seat.
Do you guys do sidecars? I'll take a sidecar.
No sidecars right now.
Now, let's
pedal faster.
let's talk about the bike shop though a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, obviously being in the area that you're in that's not a very common thing to have.
Challenging is a good word.
Yeah, it's challenging
Yeah.
for sure. And I was going to ask you, what are some of the challenges that you go through being where you're at?
So I get, in general, people are not used to dealing with, I guess, a bike shop. I get customers that come in all the time, and they say they want a bike. So they're like, hey, I was looking online. I want one of those carbon fiber bikes. I want a really nice wheel set. I want my bike to be light and fast. And my first question normally is, okay, how much do you plan on spending on this bike? I don't know, like $200. And I'm
You're like, you should probably turn around and walk out that door because I got nothing in here for you.
yeah, and I try to explain to them, I'm 48, and the last time I remember a cool bike being in a bike shop for $200, I was 13 years old, and we look like we're the same age. And I know with inflation, they're no longer $200 bikes.
Well, they are. They're just at a different spot.
At a different spot.
Yeah, I mean, you're not even getting a wheel for 200. You're not getting a hub.
Especially,
yeah.
I mean, you start stepping into carbon.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
prices are skyrocketing.
So one of the things that I have to do, you have to actually educate the people on bikes. Mm-hmm. So it's like you got to take extra time and explain to them the difference of what they perceive a $200 bike is that they can buy on somewhere on the internet that'll fall apart once you ride 7 miles on it versus a bike that's $500. And then once they hear the price of $500, it's like, what is this, a pro bike shop? Like, nah, $500 is pretty basic where they start nowadays. And then once you go through all that, hopefully you'll educate them and they'll buy the bike. Sometimes they're like, oh, I just didn't anticipate spending that much money on a bike. I didn't know they cost that much. And hopefully they'll be back. So it's like a 50-50 shot sometimes, depending on what's going on.
I mean, you can get a cool fixie for like $400 or $500, but I mean, BMX bikes are $350, and then like the kids' BMX bikes are still $350 for a 12-inch. Like,
exactly.
You're like, you giving me half the wheels, and I'm still paying just as much as the other one.
Dude, when I bought my nephews the Colt bikes, and I need to get them new ones. That's the problem with kids; they grow so fast. But like, I got them a 12 and a 14 to start on. But they were both $350 bikes, and I could get a 20-inch Colt for $350. Like, their bikes are just $350 if you get a 12-inch or you get a 20-inch.
Yeah.
And then if you get their 29, it's $2,000. So.
And that's
because
always a
because
problem.
why not?
Yeah, it's hard to being in some of these neighborhoods. Working out is not a priority. Like, the priority for the household is going to work, getting paid, and make sure there's food at home. So when you try to explain to someone that a bike is $500, they're like, "No, this is not for me." So this is part of the big scheme of things why people in the neighborhood are sometimes obese, because we don't have the information and knowledge to understand that bikes are not $200, and our focus is mainly on living, not exercising. Surviving.
Yeah.
Literally surviving.
Now with the bike shop though, like from Inglewood, because the 29 game's hot in like Inglewood and Compton and stuff like that. Have you thought about selling those bikes?
I have. It's not really a market that I want to get into, only because so I have an account with them, and I was on their website
With like SE or something?
Yeah. And within like the first couple of days of me being on the website, I had some people come through where I'm like, nah, I don't want to have to deal with this every day. I don't want to have to
Just
deal
the
with this.
people themselves that
Yeah.
were trying to come in to buy it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that scene's hot over there. I mean, everyone rides them in the city.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that ride them. It's just it attracted some of the younger crowd that were looking to not pay for them.
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
Right.
But your shop's pretty close to like Nipsey's shop where he was at.
Yes.
You're just a couple blocks from Crenshaw.
Yep. Not too far away from them. Yep.
Have you had to deal with anything like that? People coming in and maybe trying to grab some stuff that they don't want to pay for?
Oh yeah, like I've had it happen a couple times. I don't know if you want me to talk about all that, but it has happened, and it kind of changes the way you look at stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, I've had people like literally plan to come in and rob you. It's just something always happens that kind of spoils what's going on, and it can get scary. Like, it can get pretty scary at sometimes, and I've gotten to a place where it's happened 3 times, and after the 3rd time, I kind of said to myself, I have to change some stuff.
Yeah, you're not dealing with that.
Yeah, yeah. Because people are willing to kill you over $5,
Yeah.
and some people just don't care.
Well, and it's even more of a shame because all you're trying to do is, help your community, educate people about bikes, give them the opportunity to have, these bikes and do the stuff that you're doing. And it's like you have those,
especially being a local from
that
there
rough,
too.
that rough crew. That's like, I mean, we're not going to put everybody into that category. Obviously,
Hell yeah,
that's a
it's
small
only
category.
like a small, very few
Right,
select. That
but you
give
still
it
have that
yeah.
unfortunate, consequence of those guys
Yeah.
coming in, which sucks. It's horrible.
It completely sucks because it can be one person out of 1,000. It's just when that one person can dramatically change your life for the bad. You got to do things to keep that from happening again, and it sucks. It sucks because you really want to just give. So this is the other thing. You want to give people the opportunity to. So my thing has always been I want to provide something, a service or an atmosphere where we can level the playing field because we haven't always had access to equipment in our area. So I wanted to give them access to good bikes so if they went out there, they can compete with everyone else and they wouldn't be behind. But because I have a bike shop, people also think you make a lot of money. They just don't know how it is. Like it's been many a weeks where I end the week still owing money.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say.
Business owner right there.
Yeah, it's a business. Yes.
Well, I'm going back to you have people coming into the shop. Oh, I want this. I want to spend $200, and you're like, okay, well, this itself is $300, and that's with me barely making money. That's with you barely making a profit. Yeah. So it's not like you're gouging people on these prices. That's just like.
Oh no, I can tell you for a fact. I've been at at this corner location in Inglewood for 7 years. I have never sold a bike at retail, for sure.
Yeah,
it's always been well below retail.
Yeah, just to help someone out.
Yep.
Now on that aspect, you talked about the mountain bike scene, getting people out. You have the deal with Specialized and Dodge trucks, getting kids up into the mountains. Have you had anyone like that you sponsored as a kid for like road biking or anything like that, where you supported and like helped them like get that recognition to like go farther? Olympics, whatever it might be with road biking?
We haven't had anyone go that far yet, but we do support people. We do give them product. We do tune-ups on the bikes. We recently connected with a company out of Colorado called Cinch Coaching that has put into place a sponsorship program. So we selected so many kids from our area, and they actually train them to be a professional cyclist if they choose to. So they have a platform where as long as you have a smartphone, a tablet, or a computer, they deliver the workouts to them, and all the child has to do is do the workouts, and they'll progress. So connecting with them and partnering with them has been something big for us.
That's been a huge thing. Especially COVID over the last year, like all these home workout programs, whether it's rock climbing or road biking or something like that, there's everything on your phone now. As long as you have access to that and Wi-Fi or whatever, you can pull up workouts, and I've seen a lot of great results come from these. Have you seen a lot come back from the road biking side?
Oh yeah, definitely a lot of results, and because now you can actually focus on putting time, energy, and effort into it, and seeing your results and making yourself better. So you definitely see a result when you do it.
Well, and the cool thing with that too, I mean, you can train stationary on a bike. You don't have to go out into the streets and do a ride. It's a little bit nicer for sure being out and about and going and cruising somewhere, but you can still put in the same amount of work and beat yourself up right in your living room, not going anywhere.
Yep.
You don't even need like a Peloton or anything. You can just get rollers.
That's what I mean.
You literally just grab rollers and just go.
Have you ever ridden rollers, by the way?
They're so gnarly.
Dude,
yeah.
Those are tough. You wanna think you're good at riding a bike? Those things are crazy.
I like them. Like I like the challenge of them, but dude, they're awkward. Like,
well, they teach you how to properly ride a bike. They teach you how to spin a proper circle with a real crank, because you'll see how bad your cranking really is when you get on those, because you're just wobbling everywhere. Yep. So those are actually pretty difficult.
And that cool thing about the Cinch cycling program that we partner with, you can actually do the workouts on rollers or on a trainer that you put your bike into a trainer and ride it at home. So you could do all the workouts at home.
That's sick. So with your morning workouts that you guys have been doing, because I've been noticing your social media has been like a lot more active lately. Are you getting people, like more people out of the neighborhood that are like, hey man, like I want to come ride with you guys, like I want to, I want to join. Like, do you have younger dudes that are coming up?
We have younger and older. See that because COVID has brought around a lot of new faces. So with COVID, we've got new people. So we end up partnering with another company called Boom House, who actually is helping us with the media and putting those things out for us, because it's something that I basically couldn't afford and do myself. And they came along, they liked what they saw, they believed in what we talked about, and they wanted to be part of the vision. So they help us do the media, put together the little clips that everyone's seeing, and it brings people from outside the neighborhood. And that's one of the things lately that has been a huge plus for the bike shop, is people coming from different areas coming into the store willing to spend money.
It's a movement, baby.
It's a movement.
That's sick. And
That's
a movement.
And it's growing.
Yep.
And that's the cool part about it. And it's putting a positive impact on your community as well. So like, I think that's cool that people are just like tripping out and just coming out and videoing you guys too. You know, like they think it's a legit race going on every single day. Like, that's rad. Or once a week.
You know, I will know that we made it when you guys show up.
All right. Well, I mean, I want George to feel like he made it, because I'm about to show up.
I will go next Wednesday.
I can make a couple calls. I can borrow a road bike. I'll be there.
We'll find a road bike. Let's go next Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think I'm around next one. I don't know what's my schedule.
Let's go get our egos hurt.
Yeah. I have like Wednesday. No, I have Wednesday morning available. I got to be up north Wednesday night, but I have Wednesday morning. We should do this. Let's figure out. Let's find road bikes.
I think I can find.
Disclaimer: it is a drop ride. That means we do not wait for people.
See, that's what I was telling you.
Really?
We're gonna get dropped.
What time do we start?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock at the bike shop.
At the bike shop, from the parking lot in the back.
There's a hill out of the bike shop. I'm out. I am out. There's already a hill in the neighborhood.
Matt's thinking about the route in his head, and he's like, yeah, it's a no for me, actually.
Can I meet on PCH? Is there?
Yeah, I'll catch you guys on the flat part.
What time do you guys usually get there?
Yeah, I'll start on PCH when you're halfway through the ride. I'll be warming up.
Yeah, 6:05 we're there. Wow, you guys pedal fast. No, I think we should come out. Like, that would be fun. I want to go back and ride Santas with you guys again. I think we should. I've been wanting to ride the road with you guys, because those videos are fun.
Yeah, they're pretty fun.
I need your guys' little uniform too. You guys all same color.
Oh, we got them.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about those uniforms for the road and the mountain, you can see us a mile away.
Blue and orange.
Because they're super colorful.
Yeah.
You can see us a mile away.
Yep.
I love it.
The Spider-Man costumes, that's what I call them.
The spandex uniforms.
The Spider-Man costumes are nice and tight, you know?
Yeah. I always love it, dude. Like, in the morning, I'll be on 2nd Street, like, going to get coffee, and, you got the guy coming in.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's like another funny part about like road cyclists. Like, you always see the group stop at like a coffee shop, and they're always just kicking it, getting their coffee in the mornings, and just like you're saying, just click, 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 walking around, and you're just like, wow, this is a. It's a lifestyle.
I was gonna slim up a little more before I put myself into a spandex. It's fine. We'll be good.
They have
what size spandex? Can you even wrap that around there?
Yeah, they have these really nice spandex kits. Actually, suck all that in for you.
Ooh.
Yeah,
it's slimming, man.
Yeah, it's slimming. That's the word. It's slimming.
Good.
Wow. You might just start wearing that daily.
Yeah,
honestly.
I might just use this,
like under your shirt, and you'll just be like, wow, Matt, you've been working out. No, it's spandex.
Spandex. So what's maybe like a funny fail that you've had, either from running a business, maybe learning bike riding? It could be a funny fail, it could be a learning fail, something that you failed at that you had to overcome, that maybe kicked you hard, or something that you could laugh about. What was something that was like just something tough that?
I don't know if it's really funny.
Okay.
I've had a few fails. One of the things that, and this is, this took years, even though I love bicycles and I want to do what it takes to help out my community and my neighborhood. And I don't know if you really want to call it a fail, but you have to understand there's only so much you could do without getting paid. So helping people in my neighborhood, hooking them up, trying to do labor for free, you can only do that so much before you realize, I got to pay the light bill. I got to pay the rent. I got to do this. Then next thing you know, you're looking up and you're like behind on everything because you've been trying to make sure your neighborhood is taken care of. And I felt bad trying to ask somebody, hey, look, it's $15 for this repair. When I know if they went to another shop, that other shop charges $25 for the same thing. At some point, I had to realize, you know what? I got to start charging them the $15.
You had to make the decision. I mean,
You got to look out for yourself at the end.
There's being a nice guy, but then there's also being a businessman too.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're saying, you got to pay the bills.
So I don't know, like how, for years I didn't realize that, and I would work like I've always had like another job doing something, and I would take the money from the other job and put it into the bike shop because I didn't want to charge the $15. So after a while of being tired, not seeing your family, I kind of look at it as a learning experience. Like you learn, like, you know what, like I need to start charging a fair rate for what I do. And yes, it's going to make some people upset, but they also have to understand if they're going to go to another shop, they're going to pay more.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're still giving them a deal, but it's like, you got to make your money too. I mean, you can help your community, but the community still needs to help you too, though.
Yeah, and it amazes me. Like as an example, like when you see some activists and they're doing all this stuff and not getting paid for it, I don't know how they make it. Like, I don't know how they make it. Yes, we love our community. Yes, we love our environment. We want to see everyone succeed, but at some point, you got to take care of your family. Mm-hmm. And trying to make the decision when that comes about is rough. It's rough, especially when you have kids and they're asking for stuff.
Yeah.
And they want stuff, and then you got two girls and a boy, and they're all sleeping in the same room because you don't make enough money to have a place with separate rooms. It's just at some point you got to decide, okay, what am I going to do?
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's tough too. I mean, especially from the neighborhood that you're coming from too.
Yeah.
I mean, but that can also come back to like really any neighborhood though across the nation. A small town, right? You're a local from a small town. You know the people. You know the other business owners. You know when the town's hurting. You know when people in the town are hurting. You want to be there to provide that service. My dad dealt with that. My whole life growing up, taking care of people. And there's so many times I know my dad never charging people for just taking care of them because he's looking to help them on the backside. Then, it's good for his business, but at the end of the day, like you got to be able to say, like at a certain point, you got to say. But it's tough. I'm like that too, to an extent as well. Like there's a lot. If I have access to something, I want to be able to help. And I think I get more put down in my life when like I know I can help, but I don't have the full resources to help. Where like it bothers me more like if I know it's coming out of my pocket, but I don't have the money to let it come out of my pocket, I'm like missing the opportunity to help. I'm like, man, this sucks. Cause like, I know I would usually do this all day. I don't have it even for myself right now.
Yeah. Matt needs to learn the concept that you just talked about too, where you actually have to look out for yourself because he does that stuff all the time where, I mean, not saying that this is a bad thing. Like he loves to help people, but at some point it's like, you still got to help yourself too, and
it's tough though. I mean, because
finding that balance, I guess, is tough for sure. But
finding the balance is tough because, like, at the end of the day, it's like you help 10 people, but that one person you didn't help. Now you're like, well, do I look like a bad guy for not helping that one because I helped 10? And it's a hard moral issue to walk back from.
Yeah, so one of the things that I learned during this whole process, and this, I mean, it can be funny, it can hurt. Like you can help 10 people, and listening to the stories of those 10 and what they want to do when they get a little money, like they want to support you when they get some money. Then somehow, some way, they finally get some money, and the thing that hurts, you see them at another store buying what they really want instead of buying it from you. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, I just did all this stuff for you, and you didn't even ask me if I can get that for you. You got a little money, then you went to some other shop just so you could feel better purchasing it from some other place, and you purchased it there, didn't even haggle on the price, didn't try to negotiate it, but then you come to me and you want to negotiate the price to repair it.
You're like, cool, I see how it is.
I see how this one works, right? Yeah. No,
that hurts when people do that, and it's happened a lot. It's kind of like somebody. We have a Mercedes dealership in downtown LA. but people feel better going to buy a Mercedes in Newport Beach from the Fletcher Jones.
Motor Cars.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's that whole thing. Instead of buying the car or the bicycle in your neighborhood, people get a little change and they want to go somewhere else for the experience.
Well, it's like anything else. I mean, you see all these people that have to have their designer stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's just all about the name, and I've never really understood it. I don't get it either. But yeah, I mean,
there's people that will chase the name. They'll go out and they'll go buy from the more trendy shop when you can go to the mom and pop shop and get the same thing. And I've never understood that aspect. You know, I've always been the person to be like, no, like my buddy has this shop. I rather support my buddy. I guess that was coming from my dad being a business owner. You know, like I would see the people support my dad.
Yeah.
Then my dad support his buddies than us going to bigger places to support, you know? And there was a lot of times I didn't understand it, honestly. Like I'd be growing up and like my dad would be buying something from someone. I'm like, yeah, well, we can get it cheaper over here. But it's like, well, this is our buddy's shop. And it's
Exactly.
You always got to support the boys.
Yeah.
Though. Always
Yeah.
support the
But
boys.
that was a thing, you know, like we could have got it cheaper somewhere else. But I mean, that was supporting our buddies. And I come to that even a lot with like online shopping today. Like, sure, I could go on Amazon right now and I can order this part, but I might have a buddy that runs that business. I'm like, dude, like I'd rather just pay you, you know?
Yeah.
And like
Exactly.
even brands that support us, like I have no problem buying stuff from brands that even support us sometimes, you know, just to always show that like I'll support you guys for us supporting us, you know, like it there's no issue with that, you know. I rather
I think some people that have not been in the realm of having a real friend that owns a business and talks to them about the business stuff, they don't understand how important something like that is.
And I think that's just a problem with like the generation in today's society. We were talking about this the other day. You know, COVID's let a lot of people not work, get unemployment, make a decent money on unemployment. But when it goes out to like working and like putting labor in, they're like, I'm not really, why am I doing that when I can collect free money here?
Yeah.
You know, and that's just like, it just goes back to that issue. Like that person might not have to buy a house or build a house. They might not have to support overhead on a business and stuff like that. They miss this whole economic structure. And I get it. We're not all entwined to that. Like high school doesn't teach us like real economics in the world. You get that from going out trial and error and stuff like that. But until you go out and try to start your own business and actually see how hard it is to start your own business, you don't generally have that appreciation for a small business owner. And like, I see huge benefits in supporting your shop than going over to like a chain bike shop to support, because you know that's literally putting food on your table for your family.
I had this one customer that somehow like I carry a brand of bikes, that one particular brand called BH bikes that not many people deal with, and this one customer was looking for a BH bike, so he found me on the website, lived in Beverly Hills, came down to Inglewood from Beverly Hills, and he became a really loyal customer. And he would say to me all the time, I don't understand why this bike shop is not always busy, because you have the best prices and you have the best service. And it was really hard for me to explain to him why the bike shop wasn't always busy. Because no matter what, this guy would either call or come down and buy from me no matter what. And he was like, man, I just don't understand why everybody else is not doing it.
Yeah.
You're like, tell your friends.
Yeah.
Let them know.
Tell your boys.
All those guys you got over there in Beverly Hills, send them on down.
Now, do you have other employees? Like when I was there, it was just you working on bikes. But
right now, it's still just me.
Just you.
Yeah, we've been through a couple employees, and when things start going up and down, we just kind of stabilize with me and some of the people that came up during COVID. They come around and they help out, but they're not officials.
Yeah,
right
I got
now.
you. Now, what does your kid like coming down and working? I know he's young, but does he still like? Does he like coming down and working on the bikes?
So you know, in my generation, we all had to do some type of work growing up. All my kids work. They all have days that they come down to the store and work. So they run the coffee bar. Like my son does Monday, and my daughter does Wednesday, and my last daughter does Friday.
That's awesome. I like
that's
that.
legit, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
that's cool. You walk in, you got the whole family in there. That's how my dad's office was growing up. We were every day after school. I mean, my mom worked at the office, my dad worked at the office, and then they brought us to the office, and we did homework until dinner time.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like we had babysitters or anything like that. They just brought us to work.
Dude, that's how like for me when I was younger, like summertime, I was working for my dad. Like I was like 12 digging trenches for him, dude. I'm like, I think there's laws against this, Dad.
Yeah.
I think this might be illegal. I don't know.
We had a lot of the dads doing that with us too. We were, gosh, like I had to pressure wash a houseboat in the snow one time, and I was like 15 years old. I'm like, what am I doing this for? Like, why am I in the snow with a pressure washing a boat? And just remember my dad.
It wasn't that it actually needed to be done. No, it was a lesson.
Yeah, it was a lesson. Yeah, just dads building character amongst us all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember my dad would do that to me too. We'd be like doing something just horrible. It'd be hot, and like I'd just be sitting there sweating. And like I said, I'm like 14, whatever, you know. I'm just sweating, just like hating life. And he's like, "Hey, you having fun?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, stay in school." And I'm like, "What? Okay, it's summer break, and you forced me to come with you. I don't know how this applies, Dad."
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it did teach you a lesson, though, didn't it?
No, it teaches you a lot, and that's cool that you got your kids coming down there and working with it. And now your community knows you pretty well, right? Like you got a pretty good respect in the community amongst the cops and other business owners and stuff like that. Everyone kind of knows who you are, so that helps too with you.
Oh yeah, it definitely helps. Especially when the parts about when there was a few attempted robberies, knowing some of the city folks actually helped out a lot.
I mean, coming from a small town, like towns usually take care of themselves. When they know like one of the businesses got hit, like they're gonna look out for each other. Like the town kind of peels itself out on a lot of aspects. So.
And what I personally, because I deal with a lot of the police that work during the day, and right now with the whole atmosphere of everything that's going on involving the police, like I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, not all police are bad. It's only a small percentage that are making other people look bad. So what I do, because I appreciate the police in my area, I appreciate the fire people in my area, the firemen, firewomen. There's a Starbucks like about 2 or 3 blocks away. Like I'll go down there and I'll put some money on a Starbucks card, and then I'll go on Instagram and make a post and tell them the first police or fire person to come by gets this Starbucks gift card, because I know they all drink coffee. So anything you can do to like try to support them, it doesn't have to be big. That they're going to be at Starbucks.
But it's
sometimes.
the little things like that though that actually mean
it's little
more.
notices, It's like, and like you said with the people that rob you too, it's a small group of people in the community. Like you said, not every cop's bad, not every firefighter's bad out there, not every pilot's, but there's always going to be one bad egg. But that doesn't represent your entire community over those one small.
Can't put everybody into
you
that
can't put everyone
category
into
just
that one
of
box.
The one bad person.
That's the downside. A lot of people, whatever you do now, it's just everyone's just categorized in this one. It's like that. We ain't all like that, that ain't all of us. Yeah. It's brutal out there, but seeing you with the positive influence that you're putting back in Inglewood, bringing, I love watching these videos of you guys riding through the streets. We're gonna come ride through the streets with you guys up there.
We're gonna go get dropped in the streets with you.
Yeah. But it's rad. Like you guys do some really, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And what do you have for like future stuff coming? Like what's your kind of your bigger plans? I know you got the bike school now kind of up and running. You got commercial deals you're working with now.
Yeah, we have a project that we're gonna do over the next couple of weeks with Jeep, where we're getting one of the new Wrangler 4xEs, and we're gonna do some promotions with it. We're gonna
one of the first ones, by the way.
Electric Jeep.
Not
the
anybody
first
has
one.
this.
No one has this.
Humble brag, no worries.
Yeah, we're gonna do some really cool stuff and help promote Inglewood, help promote the bike shop, help promote the culture of cycling, because there's a whole culture. You touched upon it earlier. Like there's a whole culture when you see cyclists at a Starbucks or at some coffee place and they're hanging out and they're talking. There's a lot of stuff beyond actually being on the bike that people don't see. Just like how when we mountain bike ride, man, those are some of the best times I have. Not necessarily while we're riding, but when we're sitting around talking and hanging out.
Yeah.
Like that's some good, clean fun, stuff that we'll never, ever forget about. And we want to show that fun and show like that culture where there's Black people, white people, Asians, Latinos, all together just hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah, it don't matter the color of our skin. We're just having a common
Exactly.
goal.
Exactly.
It's a common goal at the end of the day that we're enjoying. And that's what's legit, because like you said, there's a community. Like even at the end of mountain bike riding, whether it's at the end of the day with your buddies grabbing a beer or just sitting down, just reflecting on the ride, whatever it is, there's always like that extra culture.
Yep.
Just pure fun and shit talking. That's just what it comes down to, you know? That's just what it is, you know?
Exactly.
And it doesn't, like you're saying, it doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, whatever, where you're coming from, what kind of background you have. At the end of the day, everybody just wants to go there, have fun riding a bike, and that's what's the best part about it.
You know, I think the world misses that part because we got so many people that get so wound up over some words. Like, we can't be so hurt over little things that people say or stuff that we see. Sometimes we just got to let stuff roll off our back and just enjoy the moment.
When I was growing up, that's how it was. You know, someone said something we didn't like. It was like, it didn't break me. It was like, dang, that sucked, whatever. You know,
and you went on about the day. Like if somebody didn't like you, I can be like, hey, you know what, Matt, like, I don't like you, but are we still going to get something to drink after this? It's just how it is.
Honestly, man. Like,
wait, that actually wasn't a joke. He just
yeah, no, he doesn't like me. But yeah, we can go get a drink after this.
We can go get a drink after.
Ballast points across the street. But no, I mean, I know, like, my dad, my grandpa, and stuff. Like, they would tell stories, like, getting in fights with people, and then, like, you'd sit down and have a beer with them.
Exactly.
You know, like
whatever happens,
squash the beef. You know,
that's how it should be.
That's
though.
how it
It's
should
like
be.
if there is a problem, you know, settle the problem, and then you're good.
Yeah. It doesn't
So,
need to be
like,
an ongoing problem.
It shouldn't be an ongoing. Like, if Devin was mad at me, he'd be like, all right, meet me on the mountain. You know what I'm saying?
Catch me on the top of Sky Park, bro. See what happens. All right.
Catch me on jump line. Yeah.
If you're out there telling me I can't session, we're gonna have a problem. All right.
Exactly. We should enjoy life. Get back to that space where we have a good time.
Right.
Meet me at the velodrome. I'll take you off the wall.
Meet me at the velodrome. I'll slide you down a corner. No, I wanted to ask you too, because I've been seeing that you got into tactical training as well. And what got you into that? Is that something that you've done, or was that just you kind of just were like, hey, let's go try that out, and kind of found out it was a passion for you?
So if well, you tell me how much I can talk about this, right?
You can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah.
So in one of the situations where I almost got robbed, like, I was totally, like, not a gun guy. Like, I don't believe in guns. I'm a Christian Democrat, if you could say that. Like, I'm anti-guns. But it was so many things that were happening. And this one time when we got robbed, it was so bad. Like, even the police couldn't figure out how I didn't die during this situation. So I had a friend come up to me, like, while the police were taking a story because they found out about it. And he was like, hey, man, what type of guns have you shot? I'm like, you know, when I was a kid, you know, we all shot a gun when we was a kid over there. That's probably, you know, it's been like 15. I don't remember, man, like something. And he was like, have you shot this? Yeah, I think so. So this guy disappeared for a couple hours, came back, and then he put a gun on the counter, and he was like, this is how much money you owe me. So when you get a chance to pay me, I don't care how long it takes you need to pay me, don't ever come in the store again without it. And that's how I got my first gun. And after that, some other people I knew was like, hey, if you have a gun, you have to know how to use it. Like, there's no sense in having a gun and not knowing how to effectively use it at the time that you need to. And that's kind of how I got into tactical training. I don't really talk about that whole aspect, but, you know, God forbid if something ever happened, like, I want to be able to know what to do.
You want to be prepared.
I want to be prepared. So, I just kind of took it to the situation or a place where I actually started enjoying it. I connected with some other people, and going through this whole, I guess you could say, this whole ordeal, as crazy as it may seem, even like when it's compared to the bikes, you know, people look at blacks and minorities, and they have this stigma of what they think they are from the media, which is not what we are. And even when you think of blacks and guns or minorities and guns, we're not gangsters in the street, like, shooting sideways. It's a lot of people that want to know how to effectively use a gun. And a lot of people, especially with all this stuff that's been happening lately, they own guns, but they don't know how to shoot them. They don't know how to reload them. They don't know what to do in case they get a jam or a stoppage. So
dangerous. Yeah,
super dangerous. I've seen some stuff where I'm like, yo, like, what do I have to do at this point to be able to teach my people how to safely and effectively use a gun? So I got into tactical training. I hooked up with a gentleman. Can I say his name?
Sure.
I hooked up with Mike Levy, who's like a former SWAT guy. He's on Instagram, Knockout Lights. And he had this class where he was teaching. He normally only does law enforcement people. But this one session, he did non-law enforcement people. And somehow, some way, I got into this session and then earned my instructor's credentials through his course to be able to teach people how to use tactical firearms. And it was pretty eye-opening.
Like tactical training, like a lot of things people won't realize too. I mean, I came from a pretty gun-heavy background, gun family, and mainly hunting and stuff. We grew up with them, and but like you never use a gun as a threatening piece either. So like if you pull a gun, you're pulling the trigger. You know, like you you never point a gun at someone unless you're pulling the trigger.
You're ready to shoot that.
You never put it in a person's face that you're threatening them. Like I have that. You're using it as a tool, and that's a very real part about tactical shooting. And like that's a heavy pill to swallow too. At the end of the day, like knowing when you're training for that aspect, God forbid that you have to use this for your own protection, right? But when you take your gun out, you're discharging.
So the weird thing is, before I had a gun, if you got in my face, I was gonna get back in your face. Like I don't care what it was. If you walked up on me, we're about to stand face to face, nose to nose, and go at it. Now, since I have a gun, if I see you walking towards me, I'm like, yo, bro, like I don't want no trouble. Like I really don't. Like I will do whatever it takes to try to diffuse this situation. Because like I know the ramifications of what's next, and you don't want to go there. Right. Like I don't want to be in a situation where I'm fighting for my family over something. So I would literally walk away. Like I actually walked out because like I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue. I don't want to. It's not worth it, man. Yeah. Like it's not.
And I was gonna say too. It's awesome that you've also got your family involved in it too. I mean, your wife, your kids are doing the same training. You're teaching them the basics about all that too, and that's awesome to see too. Because, like you're saying, at the end of the day, even if you don't like guns, it's still not bad to know how one works and to how to properly handle a firearm. That's just
familiar yourself.
Exactly.
It's nothing that's like ever gonna be bad to know.
Yep.
Even if you don't ever want to buy a gun, if you know how to use it, at least you know. You know,
and that's the thing. You know, I've kind of I've made sure my entire family knows how to use a gun because I don't want my kids with that curiosity. Let me see what the gun can do. So I've literally taken them out to gun classes and had them go through the gamut of learning gun safety and learning how to shoot. They went to one of my friends owned a training facility called Point Blank Training. They all went through it. They started at, I think, 8 years old. Like and my son now, he jokes with me, but I don't ever want him to actually beat me, but he's pretty darn close to beating me. Like he's a really good shot. Anytime we go somewhere, like he always grabs the attention of adults and they start asking, is he on a shooting team? And I'm like, nah, he's just out here hanging out with dad. Like, so that's one of the things we do. We hang out mountain bikes and we go shooting. And I know that's weird to have a black person from Inglewood say we hang out doing mountain bike stuff and we go out and go shooting.
But that should be normal, man. That should just be normal for any. That should be normal for any household. That shouldn't be a shock factor for anyone because where you're from. That should just be a normal, like, hey. Because really, at the end of the day, like that's the American dream, right? It's family.
It is.
And at the end of the day, does it matter what you're doing if you're like you and your kid are having a good time?
It's so weird that when I actually went to training with Mike Levy, I had to call him and ask him, is it okay for a black person to come? Because I don't see black people involved with guns like that.
It's not common. Yeah.
So and he talked to me about it. He was like, you know what, man, law enforcement needs to understand this is actually a real concern amongst blacks in the community because we don't see blacks portrayed in the media in a positive light when it comes to guns. It's only gangsters doing drive-bys, babies getting killed. Like we don't see any positive stuff like that. There are way more positive blacks than they are negative. It's like that 1%, just like the cops.
I mean,
it's
I'm not going to argue
same
that.
Thing.
I'm never going to argue that. I mean, I grew up right next to Oakland. Was born in Hayward. Like, grew up with everyone. Like everyone's normal. If you treat everyone like a human, right? If you treat everyone like a human being, you're gonna get that respect back. A lot of my close friends, including family members, are cops that I grew up with. But they treat people like people. When you go on a call, and there's a difference between the average citizen that you roll up on or the person that the cops are dealing with 6 nights a week on domestic violence or whatever it is, whatever neighborhood they're from, whatever color they are. They don't care, but that's when they're dealing with that same person on the same exact offenses night after night after night, whether it is, they're going to have a skewed view on that person's life compared to the everyday citizen that they're going to roll up on. But they're going to know the people that are an issue compared to the people that aren't an issue, you know? But I always, like, I've always told people, man, like, you got to give it easy on the cops. Like, if you want to know what a day in the life is in the cops, go down to the police station and go for a ride along. Like,
I don't think they want to know that truth.
No, they don't.
They don't want to know that truth.
Like, you can take any civilian out there and you can put them in a scenario with a gun scenario and then have them have a gun too. They're going to shoot the person every single time. Oh, yeah. Any threat that's upon them, they're going to shoot it's been proven. They've done this study time after time, But it's like, go out and do a day in the life. Go out in a day in the life of the firefighter. You can do that. They are civil servants. You can go as a public person and sit as a civilian and sit in the car with them and watch a day in the life. Look at the stress that they're dealing with. Look at the people that they're dealing with. Look how the people are treating them. Because, I mean, everyone thinks they know the right way from a social media video that someone's shooting back at the other side. Sit on the other side. Look what it feels like.
We were talking about this. Like, everyone's an expert on everything online, Everybody knows exactly what they're talking about. But
we hooked up this tweaker lady one night. I was out on a call with my buddy. And
whoa, Matt, that's derogatory, dude. You can't say that, right?
Dude, she was tweaking so hard in the back of the car.
Come on, bro. You can't say that.
But it was like an older cop car where we didn't have like full plexiglass. Dude, she starts spitting on me. Starts spitting on me in the front of the car. Like, you have to pull her out and you got to put a spit mask over her face now. And it's like,
she's spitting on you. You're like, dude, I don't even work here. I don't even do this.
Oh man, I remember. I guess I could tell the story. I got in trouble drinking, when I was younger and stuff like that. And
no,
yeah, and I was in my early 20s. I got in trouble drinking when I was a kid. And
Matt, how dare you?
So this one night I'm on a ride along with my buddies, and we're out and we get this girl for DUI, and she's drunk. Like, we rolled up to her and her car's in the middle of an intersection. She's passed out on the steering wheel to the point like they had to break the window to get her out of the car because like it's more of a safety concern. Mm-hmm. Finally get her out of the car.
She was just taking a quick little snooze.
They finally get her out of the car. But dude, we're on the way to the jail, taking this girl to jail, and she's young and she's crying in the backseat of the car. She's like, "My life's over, my life," all this. And my buddy literally just throws me on the bus. He's like, "No, you're good. He's got in trouble for drinking. Look at him. He's fine." I'm like, "Thanks, bud. Thank you, buddy."
Look at the bright side. You can end up just like him.
I was like,
this chick's like, again, my life's over.
Melting down. My buddy's like, no, you're fine. Look at him. I'm like, thanks.
She's like, this is even worse.
But, like, I would always tell people, man, like, if you really want some perspective, go out. Like, see a day in the life. See what these people do. And, I mean, if there's anything out there to do more day in the life of people, like, you'll have a more respect for a person.
That's a reality not many people are willing to face.
No.
At all.
But even your reality, like, just come do a day in the life with you at a bike shop. Like, that's a different reality than a day in the life in a bike shop in Newport Beach.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Day in life in a Newport Beach bike shop is, I mean, you're just going to deal with an angry Karen that's, upset that a lot of people, her chain came off.
Like you said, a lot of people just don't. I don't care if it's law enforcement, owning a bike shop. People just don't want to go do a day. Like, they don't want the reality of something. They like this misinformed. Our buddy Byron that was on the show last night, he talks about like how the media is like, it doesn't matter if it's like literally news media or just a media on TV, how it implants seeds in the back of your head to give this false reality where you'll start thinking that you know something about something because you've watched this for so long that you feel like you've experienced it now. It's like it gives these experimental like bursts in your brain that like, oh no, I've understood this because I watched a YouTube video. It's like, it's different, man.
I mean, it's so crazy. Like I've talked to people over the phone, and then when they finally see me in person, they're like, "Hey, I'm looking for George." I'm like, "I'm George." They're like, "No, I'm looking for George." I'm like, "No, I'm."
You're like, I don't know if you can see the name tag.
I'm George.
George.
And, then I find they think I'm somebody of a different color, and then it leads to some other conversation like, "Oh wow, you're different. Where were you born at?"
You're like, what?
Down the street.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm confused a little bit right now.
I'm missing this. What's happening? Are you changing your business point?
Yeah. Does this have an effect on anything? What do you mean?
Oh,
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, you know.
But I mean, I'll say just from like a biking standpoint, you know, like you could watch videos and you could look at jumps and stuff. You're like, oh, that's not too bad. Like that's pretty cool. I could do that. Like I know my skill level. And then you go out to the trails. And
yeah,
dude, this is way different than the video I just watched.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you're saying like you see somebody riding a bike on Instagram, you're like, I could hit that.
Yeah.
And then you go to those same trails and you're like, oh,
yeah.
Yep.
You know, I see, you know, Brian Semenek.
Brian, yeah, Brian Semenek,
you know,
yeah.
Brandon stunt double. Right. No, yeah, you know, you see Brandon do some like stupid foot plant 720 off something. You're like, oh yeah, I got that. That's not that bad.
I have never said that. I watched that guy ride and I'm like, I'll never do that.
Yeah, that was an extreme form. But
Yeah.
you know, like
no, I get what you're saying though. Yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely. I mean, that's we can go back to the social media thing or just online in general. Everybody's an expert and they can do anything that anybody else does, but it's like
I'm so much cooler online.
yeah, everybody's way cooler online, but it is what it is. I mean,
that online
that's why we
in
actually
trouble.
go out into the mountains and we go have fun with our boys and we ride bikes and we have a good time.
Exactly.
And that keeps us away from that because we get to go live the reality of actually having fun and enjoying people's company, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, I had a blast with you guys. Like, I don't care who I'm with. I'm just having a good time.
Well, hey, dude, I will say too, the first time we met when we were in the parking lot and Matt made a joke, and then first thing you said to, you were like, "Oh, was it because I'm black?" And we were like, "Oh my god, this is awesome."
So no, there was a backstory to this. So we were like, we're in the parking lot, and like I had no idea who anyone is, and so like we're standing.
We were
there.
literally just meeting everybody.
Literally, like I've been in the parking lot for 5 minutes, and I'm an idiot, and so I just think stuff's funnier in the back of my head, and I don't have a filter, and then it comes out, and I'm like, oh, I just said that out loud. But like one of your buddies was describing someone in the group, and he's like, yeah, he's like some guy, you know, you can't miss him. He's a black guy over there. I'm like, why has he got to be black, dude?
Oh yeah, that's
I just opened up with that. Like that's how I met these guys. I was just like,
and that was a risky move, but it played out pretty good.
It was like one of those things as I was saying that I was like, why has he got to be black?
Reel that back in. No.
But in my head, like it wasn't like a racist thing or anything. I was just like, I was being funny in my head. Like that's all it was. But you guys all played off of it great. And like your buddy even was like, yeah, I'm just I like threw him off guard, and he was like, I was just describing who. Yeah.
He was like, oh, we just shook hands and exchanged names, and you're gonna hit me with that right off the bat. All right, interesting. It's a bold move, but yeah,
bold move. We'll see how it goes, Cotton.
No, but like I mean, that was just like, you know, that started off our day, and it only got better from there. And I mean, I don't ever want to like.
They didn't pack their car up and drive away. They kept riding bikes
and
with
then
us.
they completely lost your number and didn't want to talk to you ever again.
Yeah.
No, but it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, we all just, it doesn't matter where you're from, what color you are. If you're cool and you want to come ride bikes or, you know, whatever it is that you're into, if you can find a community that just wants to have a good time and put whatever's going on in the world out of your head for a while, clear your head. Like, go do that. Go have fun. Go live life and experience the fun stuff that's out there.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to continue living in a world where if you see a black person mountain biking, it's not normal. Or you see a black person at the gun range, it's not normal. It should be normal to see a black person on a road bike or a black person on a mountain bike or a black person at a gun range, and people not get freaked out when they see a black person at a gun range, and people not think that the black person stole the mountain bike that they're on. Like it should be normal.
Yeah,
and it's not. And I don't want to continue living in a world when it's not normal. So we're here to normalize that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it would just be normal for us to just be like, it's another person. Like, no color.
Exactly.
No color oriented. It doesn't have to be a black person, a white person, a Mexican, whatever. It doesn't have to be that. It's like, that's just another person out here enjoying life.
Exactly.
That's what it needs to be at the end of the day.
Except for when we go on this road bike ride with these guys, they're going to be like, oh, look at the white boys in the back. The hell's wrong with those guys?
You know, when you show up, you know they're going to automatically assume you know how to ride.
Yeah. They're like, oh, these white folks are here. Yeah, okay.
They're gonna be like, oh, who brought the cop? Look at that mustache.
Right? Look at this narc.
You know, there's no donut shops around here. You know that, right? Wow, cool. Isn't Randy's around here?
Matt's actually just trying to ride to Randy's. That's all he wants to do. He just needs a donut ASAP.
Hey, sugar gets me energized.
Yeah. No, but dude, this has been awesome. This was a fun conversation. And I mean, do you have anything else you want to?
No, I mean we're
talk about?
gonna keep doing a lot more with George, especially post COVID. We're gonna come out and ride with you, but I thank you for just coming down, man. I think it's been awesome to stay in contact with you since we've ridden, you know, working with each other, you helping me with parts and stuff like that. Like I really appreciate you a lot, and so I'm just stoked that. Dang, I need a bike. I don't even have a bike anymore.
Yeah, we do need to get you a bike.
I don't even have any bikes anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll get a bike and we'll come ride. But I'm just stoked to just come back out and hang out with you guys because your group of guys is awesome, man. And I just was stoked to have you come down, tell your story, talk about the bike shop, what you're doing, what you see for the future, and like what you're trying to achieve with your community. I think that's great. You have a great positive voice that you're trying to bring something out of this. So, dude, awesome. Thank you for coming down.
No problem. Thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
And I mean, let everybody know where they can find you on social media, your bike shop, everything. I mean,
so they can find us on social media. On Instagram, it's Penuel Bicycles. On Facebook, it's Penuel Bicycles. They can find us in physical form at 1329 North La Brea Avenue in Inglewood, California, right there on the corner. Inglewood, that's right.
Make sure you walk in there and ask for the most expensive thing, but tell him you only want to spend $200. He loves that. He loves when you come in and want to buy a carbon wheel set for $200.
Yeah.
No, but thank you again for coming on. This was super fun, and we'll definitely have you back on. And maybe we will go get our asses kicked on bikes with you guys.
But yeah, thanks a lot, buddy, and we'll see you soon.
No problem. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
Have a good one.